let's be honest here. When I first decided to make these Wellbeing Wednesday videos, I didn't really consider how hard they were going to be. And my biggest fear is I'm going to get castrated on the internet. So, what do I decide to do? Talk about the most controversial thing that's happening, apart from the COVID? Yeah, today we're talking climate change. Okay, I know. Right now, the world is experiencing a pandemic. But this pandemic and the fact that thousands, if not millions of people are currently isolated within their homes has shown how much human behaviors affect the environment. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of you have seen on the news or on the internet situations where things have changed for the better because we are staying within our homes, that we are not out and about and creating the emissions that we normally create. Now, I want to say, I'm not here to say, stay in your home, that's the only way to save the planet. No, that's not what I'm here for. But I'm here because today, it's not only Wellbeing Wednesday, but it's also Earth Day. So Earth Day was first started in 1970, on the 22nd of April. So this is the 50th anniversary, and what better time to highlight the importance of protecting our planet? Because without it, we aren't going to be here, corona or not. So let me give you a little history about Earth Day. Earth Day might now be a global event, but in 1970, the first Earth Day mobilized 20 million Americans to call for increased protection for our planet. This was the beginning. From there, Earth Day went global in 1990, with an increase from 20 million to 200 million over 141 countries calling for increased protection of our planet. In 2000, with the power of digital media, they created millions of conversations over 180 different countries. With that, they also engaged 75,000 global partners across 192 countries. And now, in 2020, they mark their 50th year. And they aim to globalize 1 billion people worldwide for transformative action for our planet. With their theme, Climate Action. Climate change represents the biggest challenge to the future of humanity and the life support systems that make our planet habitable. Without our planet, we cannot survive. I know climate change is a little bit of a taboo topic, and one of those things that people don't believe, but the evidence is there all around us. Global temperatures are rising. Oceans are warming. Ice sheets are shrinking. Just look at the Arctic ice mass. The loss of ice has tripled over the last decade. Glaciers are retreating. There's decreased snow cover. Sea levels are rising. The acidity of the oceans is also increasing. And ice seas are decreasing. There's a massive decline in the Arctic sea ice. In 2007, the Northwest Passage became open to boats without icebreakers for the first time since 1972. And now you can take a cruise through there. I even read a study that said that there's a 95% probability that human activity has heavily contributed to the warming of our planet within the past 50 years. And believe me, living in Australia, You can't particularly deny it when there's a giant hole in the ozone layer right above you. I guess the question is, what can we do to help climate change? I've got some fairly simple. I say fairly because understandably not everybody would find these simple. And I hate it when a website says 10 easy tips or simple tasks to make your life better. Sometimes they're not as simple as they say. So I'm going to say fairly simple. I've got some fairly simple actions that you and I can take to try to help climate change. So here they are. 1. Walk, cycle, or take public transport. Don't use the car. Cut back on those emissions. 2. Eat less red meat. Beef is known to produce a majority of the farming emissions. 3. Invest in sustainable businesses, not fossil fuels. Supposedly, in saying that, I've heard that majority of the big 4 banks in Australia all invest in fossil fuels. It's recommended that you move from a big bank and go to a little one. In saying that, I class that as one of those not so simple tasks. Hang now. 4. Use up what food you buy and don't buy more than you need. Also, on top of that, eat your leftovers. 5. Energy use and efficiency. That includes things of using sustainable light bulbs, making sure your house is airtight so that it keeps in the heat and the cool, and you don't have to use air conditioning or heating. In saying that, I know how hot it gets here, and during summer our air conditioner does not get turned off. 6. Buy sustainable. I mean, really, who doesn't love a good op shop? And finally, 7. Explore and restore your local nature. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm as green as they come, because I'm really not. For one, I literally live less than 5 minutes away from work, and I drove my car today. And between you and me, I even forgot Earth Hour this year. It happens in Australia on the 28th of March, where you turn off all your power for an hour. It was from 8:30 to 9:30, and I forgot completely. I was like watching Teeny House Nation or something. Yes, okay. My little bit might not mean much when it's just me, myself, and I. But if every single person, if the millions and billions of people that live on this planet do one small thing every day, then that will affect. We are one voice, and it is our responsibility to show some appreciation and look after the planet that we are so lucky to have. I've linked a few articles down below, things that I did read up on to talk about today. I've also linked an article that discusses how the climate and environmental changes that are occurring during this pandemic are not sustainable, and how we as people should be looking at ways to create sustainable changes that will both benefit the planet as well as ourselves. So I've linked all that down below, so please take a minute or two to have a look at them. So I'm Verity, that was the 4th episode of Wellbeing Wednesday, and now to the outro.